I started collect pearls. I started connect with people who were in the pearl world, like pearl farmers, people who actually have pearl dealers, pearl collectors, hobbies. And then I went to, of course, to educate myself. I finished the course in pearl grading and I got a certification. So I'm a certified pearl specialist now. Again, it was on the stage of being a hobby, but at least it took me away from my constant grief and being consumed in my loss.
On the age of reinvention, I explore relocation and the expat lifestyle through the real life experiences of expats, people who move from Western countries abroad, and immigrants, people who live for years in the West. Who is Emily Bron? Owner of the International Lifestyle Consulting from Canada. My life has been a series of relocations and adaptations. I was born and raised in the former Soviet Union, witnessed societal changes during the perestroika, relocated to Ukraine, and later, with my family, immigrated to Israel, where I had to navigate a new language, profession, and society. My second immigration, in Canada, we face the challenges of integrating into a new country and adapting to a different climate and lifestyle. Currently, I'm preparing for my next life chapter and relocation to Mexico. I offer my knowledge about relocation and observations about current global relocation trends through the lens of immigrants who have lived for many years in the West. The life experiences shared by my guests are invaluable. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to share these insights with others who are considering a similar lifestyle change, particularly in the context of relocation and life abroad.
Hello, it's Emily Bron, and today I have with me my dear guest, Marina Korneev from San Francisco, USA. In the wake of personal tragedy, Marina found solace and a new beginning in the luminescent world of pearls. What started as a grieving widow's hobby in 2016, fueled by passion discovered through renowned pearl foray, has blossomed in Marina Korneev Fine Pearls, a luxury pearl jewelry business. Marina's journey from collector to connoisseur and finally to an entrepreneur is a testament of resilience, passion, and transformative power of beauty. And I would like, again, welcome you, Marina.
Thank you. Hi, Emily.
I would like to start our conversation from our first steps in adult life. Your journey from Odessa to San Francisco and into the world of pearls is incredibly inspiring. Could you share more about your life in Ukraine, immigration to the US, first steps in a new country, and how this immigration experience has shaped your life perspective and approach to your craft?
So, my life in Ukraine, I have a very tight, a very loving and supporting family and my parents. My first education was Russian language and literature. And that was actually happening when the Soviet Union collapsed and the life changed very much for all of us. So I never actually worked my profession. And when my mom went to United States in New York in 1992 just to visit, and when she came back and said, we gotta go. And I'm very grateful for it's one of the probably two most important things in my life that she gave birth to me. She gave me life, but she gave me a new country to thrive and prosper in. And when we actually decided as a family that we're planning to immigrate, I changed my profession and I went to nursing school in Odessa because my sister was a nurse. And when I finished, we immigrated to the United States, to San Francisco. I loved it from the very start. I knew it. I never had was nostalgic. I felt, oh, it's a place for me. Never had problem with connecting to people, though I was very shy. And I understood a lot of English, but I was afraid to speak. I was afraid to make mistakes. And at the time, it was a course for nurses here that actually helped us to ease into that society and get ready for the license, for the licensing exam. So I learned English in for profession. We had lots of training in the local hospitals. It was great, but again, it's never transferred into profession. Another education I never worked in because at the time there was a high tech boom. And we were like in the very middle of in San Francisco in Silicon Valley, in the middle of that boom. Actually, my father came to me and said, oh, you know what? Why don't you check out quality assurance profession and go this way? So I did. And that was actually, I took a pretty comprehensive course on quality assurance because I was not tech shy, but I wasn't tech savvy too much, but actually it helped a lot. And at the time, QA was like for everybody. People will stop on the street and say, do you want to be QA? And my first ever job in the United States was in quality assurance as a contractor. And my first salary, I remember, was like $25 an hour back in 1998. Pretty decent for a first ever. And I did it for a few years until the big crash, which left me again on the crossroads, mid-30s. And my next step was I actually went to retail, worked a little bit in retail in San Francisco and Nordstrom. And they very quickly realized that I like luxury stuff, that I like very high-end stuff. And they nudged me towards the designers department. But it didn't last too long. For me, that profession was satisfying. You have, in the high tech, you have a project, you have a goal, you have achievement, you celebrate that achievement, and something is done. So then I met my husband. He was also immigrant from St. Petersburg. His life was very different. He had only two jobs in his life. He was like a scientist in St. Petersburg University, and he came in the US and he was a scientist in Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. So this was like two things for me, and it was like different. And so we met, we got married, and I got pregnant very quickly. And I didn't feel well for my health, definitely wasn't supporting that. So I had to quit my job and stay home and leave all this workforce behind and lead a life as a wife, as a homemaker and mom. And though we we started our own business, it was a very easy side hustle for me because he was a scientist and a consultant, and there was like on the background doing something like scheduling.
What kind of business? Sorry.
He was a consultant for academia and industry for oil and gas industry. He was a seismologist, and I was just doing a little bit on a background. It was not very professional.
Some admin work for you.
Yeah. No, wasn't very challenging. But then by the end of 2015, our son was 9 years old, and My husband died of a heart attack. So I was left with a child with no profession, no vacation, nothing to rely on. And that was the hardest time in my life because it was first true, real tragedy that struck me suddenly. And it took me a while, probably around a year, to get to feel something, to be able to get out of bed, start to take care of stuff around me. And my family actually very supporting. Again, my sisters, they were trying to cheer me up somehow. They would take me on, some kind of trip or give me something to occupy my mind with. And one day when we were traveling to New York, where my older sister lived, she was collecting like vintage brooches, vintage costume jewelry, and she showed me something. I said, "Oh, here's this," and she showed me like a brooch. It was a faux pearl poodle of like silver poodle, just like our dog. And she gave it to me and said, "Oh, you know what? There is a Facebook group where people actually talk about jewelry and talk about designers and talk about trends. And go see, maybe you will like something there, just spend time with." So I went there. I started to poke around and one day stumbled upon a necklace, just white, simple white Mikimoto necklace with beautiful photos and beautiful copy, beautiful text, beautiful story that I got so into. So I bought it. I never ever before in my life liked pearls. I I said, "Oh, it's not for me. They're ugly. They're crinkly. There's no attraction in pearls for me." But that story somehow lured me in, and I bought them. I paid like probably 3 times the premium and started to research what is it about? What kind of pearls are they? What kind of clasp is there? What this stamp means? What this trademark means? And that actually led me to a forum, American forum called Pearl Guide, where I found information and actually like a whole new world opened before my eyes. I never knew that what kind of pearls there is. Oh, there's the colors, the sizes, the gold pearls, black pearls, blue, green, and it was fascinating. I dived right in. I started to consume, and it took all my time. And I started collect pearls. I started connect with people who were in the pearl world, like prince farmers, people who actually have pearl dealers, pearl collectors, hobbies. And then I went to, of course, to educate myself. I finished the course in pearl grading and I got a certification. So I'm a certified pearl specialist now. Again, it was on the stage of being a hobby, but at least it took me away from my constant grief and being consumed in my loss.
So it actually became turning point in your life. Yes.
Yeah.
And assisted you in this challenging time and actually gave you the new direction. And when I'm listening to you and I know you a little bit, so pearls for you, a passion and a mission. And what I can outline your storytelling qualities, because through pearls, you're really sharing with people interesting stories. And I've been a little bit in your Facebook group, and I know
Mhm.
that even on your website, you are sharing your knowledge, but in such interesting, unique storytelling style that it's really bring beauty, knowledge, and understanding, and even your craft to the different levels. As I understand, each pearl is unique, and I believe each carry its special story. So, how you integrate these individual qualities of the pearls and stories in your kind of content, in your communication with people, and how this connection resonate with your audience?
So pearls are, though being one of the first ever gems that humankind stumbled upon, basically stumbled upon, or when we're looking for food in the shallow banks of oceans, to this day, still one of the least understood gems by general public. And believe me, I talk about pearls in all continents that I could with people of all walks of life, from very affluent to work class people, and even jewelers do not really understand pearls. And there's not always a real appreciation to them. So to actually lure people into my world, and I'm a person who, when likes something, when loves something, is trying to share it with everybody, trying to spread the knowledge, spread the love. And that is my sister always joking that we're so lucky you love beautiful stuff, because if you something ugly, we'd have to love something ugly, because you're so passionate about. So people know, let's say, diamonds. Everybody know diamonds, heard about it, or they don't know. There's like certification comes with it, and what characteristics, and they're pretty universal in every country where you can buy diamonds. With pearls, the story is very different. Since we'll have only 100-year history of cultured pearls, that's what my trade. So people still do not understand what's the difference, and what's the difference in quality, why this pearl cost $50 and that one cost $5,000. Why? Because we do not understand, and there is no universal classification in pearls. They might be very different. So this is a field where trust and knowledge of a person who you buy from is extremely important. Like in every business, you got to trust the person you're dealing with, right? You got to trust in their knowledge, their professional experience, in their expertise. A lot of things is based on trust.
Marina, but I'm sorry, as far as I know, you have some special official qualification in the Pearl world. There is some licensing, there is some kind of recognition, and you actually possess one of them. How it all works around?
You need a lot of actually hands-on experience of handling pearls. As with a quality assurance, everything is comparison. So you compare one, you're holding one strand of pearls, and then another, you hold another, how they differ if they're like same color and like same size, the same shape. Is there better luster? The surface is clean, how clean it is. So yes, there is some tentative qualification that goes there, but to understand them, it's got to be a trained eye. And certification alone doesn't give it to you. You got to have actual knowledge and expertise. That's where I spent more than a year with the very renowned pearl traders in the area, and this like a third generation, and handled millions of pearls to just understand what's the difference. Like in Gemological Institution of America, they have physical test panels where they have pearls of different characteristics, so the specials can actually compare the one that is given for certification for their analysis, and so they can compare to, for example, of exceptional example that for the quality, it's actually go in like this configures exceptional luster, very clean surface, and such colors, such overtone. It's a knowledge, yeah, and it's training, and they're both probably equally important. And of course, with time, it deepens. I know I basically started 7 years ago, and my knowledge deepens, it deepens, and I know I still know that I have to learn a lot of stuff. Behind me, you can see some books. It's a small part of my Pearl library, and I collect books that are from the beginning of last century and through the latest publications that I'm still waiting to be published. So there's something you learn a lot.
Speaking about books, as far as I know, you started to write your own books. I don't know the name, but I believe your storytelling experience and your deeper knowledge actually will make some interesting entries. And I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward for the book. I understand it's a process, but I believe that eventually, with all your knowledge and practical experience, you can leave the legacy in a book format as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but since we have most of Pearl, the pool of Pearl books written in English, some in French, lots of them like in Japanese, but nothing in Russian, which is our native language. My goal was actually to have a book in Russian. And that's got on a backburn right now after all the events in life and a couple of wars that we're going through right now. It's on the back burn. And again, people who write books, and if they're like serious in their profession, they actually first gather all they can. And I still consider myself in early stages of being a real Pearl specialist, a real Pearl entrepreneur that has something to give back to the world, written format. For now, I'm sticking to like my social media.
Marina, I very appreciate your modesty at your work. And I've seen your work on your website, and I'm sure other people will appreciate it as well. And a small kind of ads. I don't think it's a work of beginner. It's work of person with creative mind and expertise. And I understand that every day you try to excel in your craft because it's your personality actually, and you very care about quality. But I actually can go back to your personal story. Like, I feel that this transformative power of beauty, which actually change your life, you trying to bring this power to life of other people, mostly women, I believe. Yes, your clients and followers, and actually what begin as a hobby became business. Yes, you transforming your business, transforming. And tell me, please, at what precise moment or what experience actually motivated you to take your hobby forward to the full-fledged entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, as I say to everybody, just Pearl and my dog. Our dog saved me from the deep depression and from becoming something I don't want to think about what would become. You're right. I treated it for a long time until probably like mid-pandemic, when I actually was still with my friends in their pro business. I actually treated just the hobby, very expensive hobby or like side hustle. When people who come to my social media ask, "Oh, you're talking about films. Are you offering any?" And I would offer here and there something like special order for a person because I became friends and partners with some farmers, so I could directly buy from them and offer for very good prices. And for last year, at the beginning of the year, I was invited to Israel by my friend, and it was supposed to be a vacation. Actually, it turned in that, and I brought my family, like my mom, my sister, and my best friend came from Odessa, and my aunt came over. So I had a whole like huge gang landed in Israel. And that was actually playing as a vacation, but actually turned out into a business trip because people who were reading my post on Facebook for years said, "Oh, we were waiting for you for 3 years to come and show us pearls in real time, and tell us stories that touch you, you're a real person with real stories and real pearl." For me to come there and actually offer them my creation, I needed to create a website. Because how would they pay me? How to receive money? And I had to become a little web designer. So I created a website. I started to gather pearls and all the materials that I would need for beautiful presentation. And I came and it was a complete success. I had 4 events in different parts of Israel from north to south and in the center and in Jerusalem. And when I came back, I understood, okay, this is not playing business. Are you doing business or you're not doing business? And I actually, it's serious. I went to take another business course and very quickly realized that the generic, more or less, offered a business course online, though very expensive, it doesn't cover the needs that I need because I'm offering products that is pretty expensive. And if I'm offering it online only, it's e-commerce only, how to actually advertise it, how to promote it, how to what is Google, what is SEO. I never heard this word. I never knew. So I had to crash and burn a few times with understanding because the most pleasant part of my business is actually creating jewelry. But the rest of it is actually hard work. Lots of learning, lots of communication, and tons of money needed to make
a different business, and I'm learning as well.
yeah,
We're exchanging with you our impression
yeah,
from different courses, and because specifically in today's world, like to develop business and you trying to sell online and you helping your clients online, but even without online, it's a whole
yeah,
different ball of game. Yes, and even professionals learning like at the same time. People with entrepreneurial or business or sales experience learning it at speed in order to be relevant to time we are living. So I'm really admire your persistence and your courage and your abilities because you're working as a jeweler. And actually, I even don't know how much time, how navigate all this and taking the courses or promoting your business or making online sales and presentations. And usually, let's shortly speaking, it's a difference between solopreneur and a company which staff people who usually behind like marketing department, sales department, manufacturing department, accounting. Here it's one person.
exactly.
Usually, yeah. So you can hire like a photographer maybe to help you, but a lot of skills that we need to learn actually
Yeah,
being after 50,
yeah.
learn as a new ones and not only learn, but trying to perfect with them. So I really commend you. And I know that this process is a non-stop process. Actually, entrepreneurial journey, it's a separate journey. And you combine both of them and still learning and perfecting your skills with pearls and being entrepreneur. Then it's not a piece of cake, I would say, but you're doing it. And what do you think? What skills or internal power, what helping you?
I think age is not a factor, a negative factor is actually a positive factor because that your time is limited. So you're not taking any nonsense. When you understand that thing doesn't work, you leave it behind and go through it and start something else. But I'm not talking about like business. And I know what the statistics tells us, like small business will die within a year, like a huge percentage, and then even bigger percentage will die within 5 years because people just crash and burn because they scale too early or they spend money and then do not see a result. But with being older, first of all, you don't have your own behind you, the whole your experience, life experience in different professions and different with relationship, with your communicating skills. And yeah, you can learn like with me, learning pearls and doing that, it's the easiest and most pleasant part. But the rest is from one hand, it's challenging. From another, we live in times where everything can be learned online. Everything can be consumed in chunks. And if you need a person who knows better, that you can always hire somebody for a consultation. And you can always find a shortcut, but like a smart shortcut. So we actually can benefit from that right now. Also, my understanding, yeah, solopreneur, one of my realization recent ones is it's a very lonely job. So to find a group of like-minded professionals, they do not have to be in your field, absolutely not, but they understand what you're going through. Maybe they will help you. Maybe they're accountant or they're like knows what is CRM and how to navigate it. And so it's always understanding that you cannot do everything, but that you have limitation and admit it and actually ask for help. I think it also comes with age. So I do not think that being after 50 limits us when changing our life drastically in many ways. For me, I'm getting excited more and more the more I learn, and I understand that for solopreneur at first, especially when dealing in products that is very expensive, so you spend a lot of money there. So you cannot have a luxury of hiring somebody for like full time right away, but at least you understand how to do that. And when you're ready to hire, how to check and see what's actually that person is bringing to your team. And another thing that to scale just on time, not too early when you're not ready to proceed further. Like you cannot build a huge team and then just say, okay, people, I just ran out of money and we didn't sell anything. I'm in that early stage. Basically, my business is what 1 year old. My like profession is one thing, but business is another. Just 1 year old, but I believe that I'm set for success.
I understand 1 year old is online business, but you started with jewelry design years ago. I know that you were selling for years already. So it just for clarity seeking, just trying to explain to people that being entrepreneur, it's by itself, it's a different kind of set of skills. But Marina's skills in jewelry design started already years, and Marina has already collection of different jewelry designs. You might speak a little bit about what kind of jewelry you're creating. But now the challenge is actually to make it on the different level, yes, to make it visible for people online. And it's a challenge that Marina is working on for the year.
You're absolutely right. But to be a painter, I don't know who, and the part of a crew or a company is one thing. You may be a very skilled painter, but to start your painting company is a little different. And same with me. Yes, I can create jewelry. I can talk about pearls for hours, but actually be a business owner is a completely different skill set and a set of mind, working not for a man, but for yourself and know all the risks and actually all the fears that might be with it. So that's a different thing. So, yes, I do consider my business is 1 year old. Yeah, my profession is a bit longer than that, but my business is just it's like very early stages. I do believe that finding right mentorship community for to support you, to help you is very important. And because last year when I started and found this business course and that completely was a waste of time and money for me, I wish I knew somebody who would tell me, Marina, no, you need go the different ways.
Only errors and trials. And I fully understand you. So at the moment you think that, oh, it's exactly what I need. But actually, after some time, you overgrow. It might be good for the time. You just
Yeah,
overgrow
that's true.
and you need something else. And it's good that there is variety of courses and you found your tribe of professionals and jewelry professionals and network. It's very important to have a network of people who support you. So I see that you have all components of successfully driving your business to the different level.
I was saying that just like you're stepping on each step in like you're in elementary school and then you're in the middle school and then you high school. So you're basically even with the same topic with the same thing. You just learn it, and it's never ending process, which is very good. We got to chase Alzheimer at some time. So learning stuff just keeps us young and not only in heart.
It keeps us young because we are learning, we are curious, we are trying to achieve something, we communicating with people, or we became a different version, better version of ourselves. I believe so.
Yeah.
And my next question, based on evolution of your brand, and I consider you the brand again.
Yeah.
Marina Korneev, Fine Pearls, it's a brand. And feedback from your clients and other jewelry design professionals. What future projects or initiatives are you excited about? What are you planning in this regard?
What I'm planning, I'm carving my niche in the American market. My focus before was mostly on the foreign market, Israel and Europe, Russian speaking communities all over the world. But now I actually want to find my place in the American market. It's a big goal for me. It will take time. And my goal is actually because pearls are a sustainable choice in luxury. It's a very conscientious and very positive for the environment industry that actually, and I'm talking about saltwater pearls, that our lagoons should be, our ocean should be pristine to actually for oysters that give us those beautiful pearls or thriving. And what are we going to leave to our children, right? And yes, there's a industry talking, and it's all on the rise. There's lab-grown diamonds, and the younger generation chooses that, and so the younger generation uses pearls because that's positive for environment. And my goal to give part of my proceeds to ocean cleaning organizations, to the charity that actually will make a difference in our children's future. I want to leave not only a legacy for my own children, just to be a part of that, but that's my work. Actually adds to the prosperity, beauty, and thriving our planet. That's personal, global goals.
Very interesting. And actually, I noticed that your models are mostly young women, actually girls, models who wear your jewelry. And for me, even recently, like I've had this perception that pearls is for older lady, queen likes the pearls and other because it was sign of prestige, aristocracy, like they wearing the pearls. And actually, your design and your young models, I was not thinking about sustainability, but now I see how it all works together. They're enjoying this one. Because, again, first for me, it's a classic, but it's this type of classic which really attract young generation. Yes?
Yes. But it's also a modern classic. It's the one that doesn't have to be stuffy, and you gotta wear in your cashmere pair and the like classical black bag or something. Pearls are very different, and they can be worn very differently, and they look very good with a gown or with a like t-shirt and jeans. It doesn't matter, and they're unpretentious, and very little people know how much they cost. And if a politician wears like a strand of pearls, it doesn't create outrage as if she was wearing like a diamond necklace full of diamonds. It would be, people know more about diamonds than they understand pearls, and pearls are appropriate for any occasion, from I don't know, christening to funeral, and everywhere, anywhere. But they do not have to be just the classical white strand worn with, I don't know, costume, that the suit that where you're actually look overdone.
Where did you take inspiration for your designs? From nature, from how you create? Because I see the different lines, different styles in your jewelries.
Things themselves are different, so many variations, forms, shapes. colors, and so they sometimes they will dictate how the better to present them. And also using, I like this style with the chain between them that give lightness, airiness, and also it's not pretentious or super official looking. The inspiration comes, first of all, look on trends. What do industry looking at right now? Or maybe there's some new pearl varieties on the market. Like Chinese growers, they always inventing something interesting. They're competing very heavily with the saltwater market, and they grow hundreds of tons of pearls each year. But now they're abandoning that practice of growing so much towards the growing more selective and smaller but refined quality pearls. And it's always interesting. And I love to work with clients who would just create bespoke jewelry. Like even today, I spoke with a lady who's local here, and she wants an engagement ring made with pearl, which is not unusual, but not very spread like diamonds or even different gemstones. So something comes from everywhere, everywhere. And but I mostly navigate towards, maybe because I'm too early in my career of that. I prefer classical look. I prefer more, and I tend to choose highest quality pearls versus lower quality, but with very intricate design made. That thing belongs to true artists. And so sometimes it gives me just sadness that, oh, such a wonderful, some meticulous fine work is combined with a low quality pearls. And that's it. Oh, it tells me that people do not understand pearls too much, like, and they see the difference in quality because the price it's not outrageously different. You can find, especially whom to ask, you can find wonderful, beautiful, high quality pearls, and they will be affordable. I'm trying to stick to the more classical look. And you're right, even though my models are younger, my products show actually a lady who is 70 years old. And my client is is the lady like you and me in our 50s, but the self purchasers knows what she wants. She doesn't follow trends. She doesn't follow influencers. She already knows what she wants and how she wants to look, but to give her ideas, just to show her what actually is out there, because not a lot of people know what's actually is out there, what's available, and give them the varieties. You've never heard about it, you've never seen it. So here it is.
Marina, where people can find more information about your jewelry, about yourself?
So I have a website that calls Marina Korneev.com, where I sell my stuff. I have Instagram account which goes Marina Korneev Fine Paris. They can connect to me through email, Marina at marinakorneev.com. And yeah, I love to talk to people about pearls, and any questions about pearls, I'm always eager and willing to answer.
And the last question, coming back to our topic in our life, what would be your advice for other people looking for the new life purpose after 50, based on your experience and your life?
Frankly, I do not know how my life would turn if my husband was alive. So where would I be? My advice is, when you actually standing in front of some crucial event in your life, might be a loss, or again, immigration, or even you lost your job.
Sudden retirement.
Yeah, or retirement, not to give up and dig within yourself, and maybe your profession, like you were liking to crochet, or I don't know, maybe you will turn it into something much more fulfilling and bigger than just a little hobby sitting by the window and knitting. Just believe in it.
So I'm about to find or to remember your old hobby, old skills, or to find something new and enjoy your life even with hobby.
I know, exactly. And from what I'm seeing in professional groups that I am joining, professional, like a business profession, not in my profession, but so I see that the majority of members are people in their 50s, people who actually changed their professions and they found a new calling and new passion and something to look forward to, not only like to spending time with grandchildren, that would be like very important, but something to fulfill themselves. I see a lot of them actually doing something completely new and changing life and starting from scratch sometimes. Yeah. So don't give up. Find your stuff, and even your hobby can become something that you never thought it would be, and that people will pay money for it.
Thank you very much, Marina. Thank you for all your stories. And I wish you the best in your entrepreneurial journey, in your jewelry design. Personally, I really enjoy your story. I hope other people will do the same. Thank you again and good luck.
Thank you. Same to you.
As we wrap up today's incredibly moving conversation with Marina Korneev, I want to express our heartfelt gratitude for sharing your journey, Marina. From the depths of personal tragedy to the sparkling design of Marina Korneev fine pearls, your story is a shining example of resilience, passion, and the transformative power of beauty that pearls represent. Curious about Marina exquisite pearl creations? Visit Marina Fine Pearl's website and explore the elegance and sustainability of her luxury jewelry. If you are at crossroads looking for advice or need a bit of encouragement, reach out. Whether through a comment, direct message, or an email, we are here to listen and support you on your journey.